Damage control mode activated. Meghan and Harry are panicking, evidently. And, well, this doesn't exactly help their case. After releasing the super cringe, very nerdy dancing video, Meghan and Harry got a lot of heat for hypocrisy, for privacy violations, those sorts of things, and just generally making everybody uncomfortable, like how rude. And the surrogacy rumor, perhaps more seriously, got more evidence according to the online consensus. More people think the dancing video supports surrogacy and moon bump theory than people think it supports pregnancy theory. So it backfired. Again, when does anything Harry and Meghan do not backfire? I struggle to think of a time where I'm like, yeah, that worked out okay for them. Look at that. It literally never does. Anyway, because it backfired, or because this is them now, they posted a bunch of Disneyland photos, including a Diana cosplay moment, creep status, and Meg, of course, capped it off with a post about herself to ensure that she got more attention, being the most recent post on her Instagram. But anywho, the Disneyland moment was obviously a nice thing to do for the children. I support all kids getting to go to Disneyland while they're little because it's so magical, it's so sweet, because it means so much to them. It's just delightful. Like, I cried every time it was one of my kids' firsts at Disneyland or Universal Studios or places like that, because it's just such a pure moment of joy and delight. It's just precious. So I think all kids should get to go. I'm glad that they got to go, okay? It's important for little kids. I mean, it would be a literal crime for them to not get to go since they're only like 2 to 3 hours away. And for most people, most general people, if it weren't Harry and Meghan, it would be a great post. It would be happy and positive and not weird and not shrouded in nonsense, not self-promoting, It would and could have been great, but not for these fools. It's clearly a distraction from the dance and the embarrassment that it caused. The damage that post did, the dancing video did to those rumors, to their reputation, and the backlash that they got, but also, more importantly, for Harry and Meghan, even this feels hypocritical and sour, because Harry and Meghan introduced themselves to the world multiple times as prickly, privacy-obsessed, and wanting to be left the heck alone. When they started dating, for example, Harry prematurely put out a statement after Meghan demanded he do so, wanting the press to leave them and her alone, even though nobody was bothering her. Then, after they left the royal family, they had a rare second chance to make a first impression as people independent of the monarchy, as not working royals, but as Harry and Meghan, just the people. Most people don't get another shot at introducing themselves to the public. Most people don't get a second chance, but they did, and it backfired spectacularly. They did Oprah, and again, they complained, they whined, they claimed to want privacy. And since then, Harry has aggressively moaned for privacy and security almost constantly, to the point of seeming paranoid. So for them to release these types of pictures on Instagram has a layer upon layer of hypocrisy and weirdness. The very nature of posting pictures feels hypocritical, which is compounded by the fact that it's on social media, which Harry and Meghan have publicly criticized over and over again. And they are using it to make money and make meta money. They make Instagram money with every post. So all of this feels quite counterproductive and quite hypocritical, and it's very challenging for the public, for anybody, to move past any of those things. But additionally, these are pictures of their kids, and people point out pretty regularly how bizarre it really looks. Like, Lili looks to be barefoot in one of the pictures. You're not allowed to be barefoot in Disneyland. What's happening? Also gross. So why is that? It's only raising speculation that perhaps it was photoshopped or something, or like, what type of parenting is happening here for them to be barefoot in a public place like that? What's going on? So each time they do this, it backfires in so many ways from so many different angles because of the landmines Harry and Meghan have laid for themselves. Also, I saw a few misconceptions floating around, so just as a quick aside, some people thought that they shut down Disneyland to go there, and I understand why. Because Harry and Meghan clear out restaurants and take convoys just down the block instead of walking. none of which is necessary, and they do unnecessary things like that all of the time. But Disney doesn't do that for anyone, ever. It doesn't matter who you are. They don't close down for anyone. They do not care how VIP you think you are. They have one option for all the VIPs, and that's to be taken around by cast members through the staff entrances, and you get maybe a few seats open around you on the rides, so there's a few rows of seats, separating you from the plebs, because Harry and Meghan can't share air with them. No, they can't. And all of this, primarily, the purpose is to avoid lines and navigating crowds and getting into a situation where, you have a crowd around you. So that's all they did. That's what they got. That's what they did. And they might have had like a special reservation or special place to eat, perhaps. So I just wanted to clear that up because I did see a few comments thinking that they managed to shut down the whole theme park for a couple of days, and that's not the case. But regardless, in other news, Harry and Meghan got all worked up into a tizzy over their kids' passports recently because they wanted them to have their titles and HRH on their passports. How pretentious. We've been talking recently, I'm not sure if the video will be up yet, so be sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it, but about Harry and Meghan's clear obsession with the titles. They were just projecting all that time. They really do care about the titles. They even made a change to Archie's birth certificate after he was born just because of titles and just over titles. So you'll have to check out that video when it comes out because it's pretty interesting and very revealing for Meghan. But again, we have hypocrisy here. Why on earth would Harry and Meghan want their American children to have titles? Why? How would they want them to have HRH and or the option to be working royals when they're grown? Like, how does that make any sense whatsoever? What is happening? Apparently, Harry cares about them having HRH. Meghan cares about them having HRH and Prince and Princess. And both Harry and Meghan want them to have the door open for Archie and Lili to be working royals if they want when they grow up. This makes zero sense, and it's really quite offensive. Archie has been living in America since before he turned 1. Lili was born in America. In what world would it make any sense for these kids to have HRH titles, let alone become working royals? They know nothing of British culture or history because they're simply removed from it, unfortunately. Quite frankly, it's an insult to the British people for Harry and Meghan to even think such a thing, let alone say it out loud. Oh my God, the absurdity. The whole thing is a mess. Meanwhile, though, in better news, we have Prince and Princess of Wales returning to a more normal schedule after last year's challenges. On June 8th, Prince William showcased his increasing role as a global figure by making a solo appearance in Monaco. Just before World Oceans Day, he emphasized his commitment to environmental issues by giving a significant speech alongside international leaders and royalty, focusing on the critical dangers facing marine life. At the Blue Economy and Finance Forum, he participated in the Heads of State and Government session, addressing an audience that included world leaders like the French President Emmanuel Macron, I hope he's okay, Costa Rican President Rodrigo Chavez Robles, and Prince Albert of Monaco. During his address, Prince William urgently called for immediate action to protect the oceans, saying, "We come together today, united by our deep connection to the ocean and our concern for its safety. For many of us, it is a place where some of our happiest memories are made, where we have explored the wonders of the natural world, and we have all relied on its great abundance for our food and livelihoods. And yet, all too often, it can feel distant and disconnected from our everyday lives, allowing us to forget just how vital it is. The truth is that healthy oceans are essential to all life on Earth." And his visit was covered really positively in the press and received really, really well. And Catherine, Princess of Wales, returned to work after the kids went back to school at an early years meeting held in Windsor Castle and an appearance at a museum. If you've never looked into our early years work in Shaping Us campaign, it's extremely valuable, and I will link it below because I think it's really, really great work, honestly. William also sat down with David Attenborough. I'll link the video for you. It's great. He comes across really relaxed and charming while also being well informed on the topic. And it's a stark contrast to some of the videos we had to endure last year, like the Jane Pauley one with Harry, where he made a fool of himself, saying that parents need to be first responders. I'll link that for you, the analysis that we did on that. It's just a massive difference. When you look at how William does these things versus how Harry does it, it's like miles and miles and miles apart. William appears confident. He presents himself well and polished, but is still very genuine. He's not overdone. You get the sense that he's not putting on a front at all. Authenticity is not something you declare, it's something people observe in you, and we see it come through with William, so much so that it makes Harry look all the more bad. But one of the key differences, beyond presentation and William himself just being so much better at everything, is that in the video, William is essentially interviewing David. It's the other way around from what Harry and Meghan seem to think everything should be interviewing them, and them saying things, and them giving their opinions and thoughts. William here is interviewing David. It's just one of those little tricks of shifting the perspective in a way that just makes William look so much more gracious and so much more of a leader and so much smarter PR-wise. It's not William trying to declare things or tell people what to do or get David to ask him things or to outshine David's experiences. There's nothing of the sort. William understands that he's not an expert on these things, but he does take responsibility in learning about it. But here, it's William asking David interesting questions, having what feels like a very natural conversation that connects back to the messaging of his appearance about ocean conservation. He doesn't tell us that the oceans need protecting. He asks David what his opinion is, what solutions he thinks are helpful, and what gives him hope for this issue. It's PR gold. There's nothing comparable in Harry and Meghan's portfolio of appearances over the last 5 years. Absolutely nothing. Everything they do is self-focused, missing the entire point of being a public figure, like them, or a royal one like William and Catherine. It's clear that Harry and Meghan probably thought that they'd still be doing similar stuff to this after leaving the royal family. Prince William's attendance at the Blue Economy and Finance Forum was well received, it was respected in the media. Meanwhile, Prince Harry's hypocrisy was what featured in the headlines when he made an obscure and strange journey to China to talk about Travelist, I think it was. When not tethered to anything official, it not only feels silly to be doing these things, but it looks ridiculous for Harry to go do these types of things, especially if he's going to fly, create a massive carbon footprint, and then talk about environmentalism. Like, have some common sense, please. When the real royals do these things, when Catherine and William and other royal family members do these things, it's a huge credit to the event or the organization, and their remarks carry weight because they're working royals, because they're in a leadership role. So it's just never going to be the same vibe with the Sussexes, and I'm sure that's incredibly frustrating for them. We have a video coming up soon diving a little bit deeper into Harry's feelings of envy for William and how that has impacted this entire dynamic and their exit from the royal family. Be sure you've subscribed so you do not miss it. Thank you for joining me for today's video, and I will see you next time. Have a happy day, everybody. Bye!